Good morning, everybody. This is Trisha Turpinoff here with Listen, Learn, and Leverage. This is where we dispel those little sneaky misconceptions and we help you grow your entrepreneurial business. Today, we have Julie Miller-Davis, who is a productivity expert. Thanks for coming, Miss Julie.
Thank you for having me, Trisha.
Oh my gosh. Well, most of you know Julie's my coach, so I love her. So this will be a fun conversation. And I think, what I put in the Facebook is perfect. It's like productivity is profitable. And it really is. People just think productivity is getting yourself organized, but I disagree. So Julie, talk to me about what's the number one misconception people have about productivity?
Well, I think the number one misconception is that I think there's a lot of stuff around. If you could just organize your calendar, you will be more productive, but not necessarily in the right way, right? Because it's not just about your calendar, although that's the place where people start. And that's where a lot of people come to me in the beginning, is about it's because they're overloaded, they're overwhelmed. But it's really a deeper issue than that. And I think the other misconception is that people feel like the more that they get done, that they're being more productive. And that's just being more busy.
Right. Like you add onto your list just so you can cross it off because you already did it.
Right. I got all these things done. And it's like, yeah, right. Well, but what did you really do today? So, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and what do you think is the number one thing that they can do today to get started? What would you say to them?
I've been thinking about this question, Trisha, and I think that I think the first thing that people need to do is get really serious with themselves about what are the things that they're engaging in, and are they really related to something that feeds their soul and something that drives their business forward? Or are they just trying to please everyone? Like you have to get really honest about what you're engaging in and what you're saying yes to. And I think that's the number one thing, is that. And the other thing really and truly is getting intentional. And they're both connected, right? Getting intentional about where you're spending your time and not just kind of going through your day and taking things as they come, like what Frogger or Pac-Man or whatever, like you're just kind of jumping over things and, hoping for the best, hoping to make it to the other side.
Without getting smooshed. That's really funny that you say that. I remember one of my mentors in photography had told me, he goes, go through about 5 clients from phone call to delivery and write down how much time you're spending on everything in your workflow. And that was really helpful because you could see where you're bottlenecking. And I know that's what's funny is I knew that when I started with you, but you expanded that outside of my workflow. It was like, oh goodness, like it expanded into my calendar and my morning routine and everywhere in my life, because you're right, getting intentional and developing new habits was really the key to me changing.
Yeah.
And so definitely. And so how do you relate productivity to results, and why aren't all productivity people getting results?
I don't know that I could say that all productivity people aren't getting results. I just don't know that that's the language they're using. But I will say that what I think sets me apart from others and that drives you to results is, number one, productivity is directly related to results, in that it has to be around, are you engaging in the things that are going to drive the business, move the needle? And, from your work, it was like, what? There are all kinds of meetings, all kinds of things that I'm going to, all kinds of people I'm engaging with throughout my work day that are not driving that. Right. And so much time is being wasted, and it's not filling you up. It's not filling your pocketbook. It's not doing any of those things. And so productivity related to results is really coming down to what I do is working with you. You already alluded to it, that it's the habit level, like
Yes.
awareness around what we're doing, why we're doing it that way, and how to shift it so that we actually start operating differently, thinking about things differently, and foundationally, we are changing.
Yeah.
And it's not, I think the mistake that I think a lot of productivity people out there are all about the calendar. And like I said earlier, and they're like, try this tool, and here's this tool, and here's this tool, and here's this tool, and here's this thing, and here's this tool, and it's the latest and greatest app, it's the latest and greatest calendar, it's the latest and greatest, and the thing is that if we're not changing foundationally at the habit level,
Right.
none of those things are going to work. And so I think that's the error, and that doesn't drive results because all they're doing is filling the calendar, and they might be filling it in a different way, and they might fill it in a different way for a few days or a couple weeks, but then everything goes by the wayside because they haven't changed.
Exactly. I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, that was the reason that I hired you initially. It was like, I need to go back to my foundation. And so many people, like, they think that's not the sexy part of your business, but that's the super sexy part, because when you get that in order, then everything, your brand and your marketing and the new habits, all of that takes hold, and you skyrocket in your business. And yeah, I have decided foundation is sexy, and I'm just going to put it out there.
Well, and I think what happens is through working with me, a lot of people get those unfun, unsexy things off their plate.
Total.
Like,
Yes.
because
There's
what
that
is
too.
not fun and not sexy for me is totally fun and sexy for someone else.
Isn't that the truth? I mean, that's why we all start with hiring an assistant and moving forward. As you build that foundation, you're able to hire someone to help you, and they take the things that you don't enjoy doing off your plate. So that gives you more of that space again. Well, and I mean, that's many of us that have been in your programs. Now we have assistants because we are able to build that foundational piece, then to hire somebody. And yeah, it's invaluable.
It's insane. The results, if you think about it, when we do that foundational work, it opens up space, which opens up more clients coming our way, which opens up revenue, which opens up the
Right?
possibility to hire an assistant, which doesn't hurt us. It only helps us make more space. And it's the cycle.
It is. And it all takes time. I think that's what people get. I think they get stuck in that too, is that it takes so much time that they're like, ah, but it's okay, because once you get over the hump,
Yeah.
then it's exciting. Well,
Yeah.
and talk a little bit about Unstuck. Why do people call on you for Unstuck?
So Unstuck is my big program that Trisha has done, and beyond. And I have a lot of people. I offer it a couple times a year, and people come to me for Unstuck. And we've talked about changing the name of it, and I just think it resonates with people that they're stuck, and where they're stuck is they are either just engaged in the same patterns, same behaviors day after day after day, and they're unable to stop the cycle.
Yeah.
The second thing is that they see where they want to go, and they know these things that they have to implement, they want to implement, they have all these ideas, and they're either trying to implement them all, and so they're getting nothing done, or they don't have the space in their calendar to do any of it, and they don't know which one to start first, and so it's just like, and they're just spitballing all the time, all the time, all the time, and there's just no action. And
Right.
so and I mean, I think that you were kind of there when we
Oh,
started.
totally. Well, I mean, just the way I organize, and yes, I'm going to talk about calendar a little bit, but
It's
the way
fine because it is, I mean, it's a part of what we do. It
it is,
totally is. You can't
it
you
is.
can't
But
get
now,
productive
well,
without your calendar.
exactly, it's true. But yeah, I was able to go back and rebuild the foundation of my business to really what it is, what it needs to be to grow. And then the same with my calendar. You know, I have things in my calendar every month that I'm like, are you honoring your calendar? And then I look through my month and I make sure that I'm doing those things so that I don't get overloaded, because it's easy to get overloaded. And oh my gosh, just, and now scheduling things 90 days out, I know what I'm doing all 4 quarters. And oh my gosh, yeah, life is just, you know, now I'm moving forward. Like I had a talk with my social media advisor yesterday about, okay, what am I doing well? What can I improve? How can we add more things that make sense? You know, and I wouldn't have been able to do that before working with you, because I was, as much as I'm organized, I still was kind of all over the place. And so, yeah, Unstuck, I think what is genius about your programming, and I know I've told you this, but I'm telling the audience, is that you have prioritized with power and solve unsolvable problems. And while we're in your Unstuck, and then beyond that, your Elevate program, you can take it again and again. And I love that, because I've always been in a different place. And sometimes I've had different, well, every time I have different things that I need help with. And it's so wonderful to be able to do that, because habits, man, you can backslide on a habit really, really easily. And
Yeah.
so that's what I love about your programming, is it's the stair step to success. And you, it's, I mean, I just, yeah, I just love it. I love it because I grow every time. And it has, it's afforded me the ability to expand in every area of my business and just make it better. I want to up level. I want it to be awesome for my clients. And that's really what you, I mean, that's what you
Well,
give us.
there's so much to be said around the community that I have as well in all of my programming, and all of you overlap with each other at
Yeah.
some point or another, all of you. And to have that connection with these people, common language with them, to also have these people that you can bounce things off of at any moment who know your business pretty well, is another thing that drives productivity and drives results, because that community is also accountability. And they're going to check on you, like, how, hey, or they'll, you know, people will text me, hey, I haven't heard about or seen anything from such and so in a while. Do you know what's going on? I'm like, we need to reach out. So, or you know what, I am hearing from them, but I think it'd be really good for you to reach out to them. And so there's a lot of that happens as well, that I think perpetuates the power of everything that we do at JMD Productivity.
Oh, completely. I mean, every class that I've been in, every person that I have met, they've all contributed to me growing my business. And there have been so many amazing ideas. And you're right, that synergy is incredible. And the people that are in JMD Productivity, they're incredible, and they love to help. Like, we love to help each other. And it's such a strong community. And I think that anyone who doesn't have that really needs to find that. It's just super important. And it's cool to see people rise. I mean, that's the most fun part. Like, wow, look at where they're going, you know? And we do a lot of that. Ooh.
I mean, they're unstuck. It's like you get that traction on that tire, and it's like,
oh my God.
Right.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it really, yeah. I mean, I could go on all day about the community, because that's just that's a huge part of it. And sometimes people don't understand, when they hire someone to help them grow their business, that they get that too. And that's important.
Right.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about morning routine and how important that is.
You know, we hear a lot about morning routine out there, and if you look up any successful entrepreneur, they have a morning routine. Tony Robbins, very specific morning routine. Darren Hardy, very specific morning routine. And you've got the Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. Like, you know, these guys they're highly successful. Brendan Burchard, and they have morning routines. And the thing is that I know I just mentioned a bunch of men. Women have it too, but I think we got more crap on our plate in the morning, to tell you the truth. I think we do. But anyhow, we can integrate it all.
That's right.
The thing is that if we just get up and go, again, it's like that game of Frogger or whatever. It's like, I just spend my day, you'll spend your day jumping from log to, gator or whatever you're
Right.
jumping onto to get to the other side. And at the end of the day, you're like, oh my God, I made it. And I didn't get taken down. But then you're like, what did I do today? What did I get done?
Right.
Morning routine is it doesn't have to be totally set in stone, but it's things that we do. Like we get up, we brush our teeth. For me, I get up, I brush my teeth, I make my cup of tea. I sit with my cup of tea and just think. And then I look at my calendar for the day, like what's in the calendar. And then what else do I need to work on for the day? And where is that going to go? And then I take another break from that and I read my morning newsletter, The Skim, and I, get my child out of bed, which is a chore. And then, then I get to, and I either go exercise or, I usually get to work around 9:30. I start really looking at things. And if we don't get intentional about the day, and you've heard me say this a million times, we have the best of intentions.
Right.
But if we don't get intentional, then what's the point? There's intention, the road to HE double hockey sticks is paved with good intentions.
Yes, it is.
Right?
It is.
And we have to get intentional so that there's meaning behind those intentions.
Right.
And that is what the morning routine does.
Yeah.
Is it gives you a foundation. We go back to that word, a foundation, a precipice, a place to jump off, and a plan for the day. And then you have, it's not set in stone, the day, it's flexible, but you've got to get intentional, or else it's like I had, all these things on my list today, didn't get one done. I made maybe the two things that were set in my calendar and that was it. And then the rest of the day, I have no idea what happened.
It's true. And then like you talk about, the laundry gets in the way and you got to go to the grocery store. And it's like, no, like the grocery store gets its own place in the calendar and it's not like just a whim. You're so right. Yeah, definitely. My day is set. And I do have breaks in my day always now.
Always
Because of Julie.
Always have breaks.
I always want to get done earlier, but I have recognized, because I fought the break for a long time, because I'm like, I just want to get done earlier. And then I'm like, just give yourself a break in a couple of places, even if it's 15 minutes. And usually I have an hour somewhere in the day so that I can just get everything done that I did beforehand and usually have lunch. And then I have a couple appointments after that. But yeah, that's been a lifesaver. And I didn't even I didn't realize, and I was like, just do it. Like it kept barking at my door. You know how habits tend to do that, especially when you're in a good program where you keep hearing that again. You're like, oh, yes, they are really valuable.
It's a huge mistake that people make. They think if they just power through, they're going to get more done. And the fact is that we're running out of energy as the day goes. And we can't even think at the end. You're like, oh, I know I got to get this thing done, but I don't have any more energy. I don't have any brain power for it. I can't even think through it. And if you've taken those breaks, you've filled yourself in some fashion, taken a lunch break, you've walked around the block, you've just gone and gotten a glass of water and looked out the window or, whatever. I mean, just, played with the dog for a few minutes, whatever it might be. And just giving yourself, and you can plan those breaks around transitions. Like don't try to go from like this interview to meeting with a client back to back, like within moments, because there's no way for your brain to catch up. And so it has to know that, oh, that thing ended and this is going to begin. And the way I know that is because we do this thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and you'd mentioned Brendan Burchard earlier. I read one of his books talks about do 50 minutes. And then at every 50 minutes of the day, you take 10 minutes for yourself.
Yeah, he's a 50-10 guy. Sometimes I think that you're sometimes just getting into something and then it's time to take a break. And I think you have to be flexible with that. I think that 60 to 75 minutes is a really good time block, and then take a 15-minute break.
Right.
You know, I think it's what works with your rhythm and how
Exactly.
long can you actually focus.
Right.
And 50
Exactly.
minutes and 50 minutes to some of you, if you try it, will be like, it'll feel like 6 hours because you've never sat there and focused for that long, in so long or ever. And if you turn off all your distractions and you're not checking your phone or anything, like, 18 minutes is a really good time of true focus
Right. Yeah. If you're really focusing for
if you're
18.
really focused.
Yeah. That's interesting. Well, tell us, Julie, what do you have for us today for our listeners? I know you have a gift for them.
Yeah, I have something for you guys that really is unfindable on my site unless you've heard me talk. So I open it up for this interview for all of you to take advantage of it. It's an audio recording. If you can stand my voice for another 27 minutes, it's an audio recording of 5 tips to it's like 5 tips to save you hours in your week, but it's really 5 tips to get you more productive every day so that you have time left over. I mean, I can name it all kinds of things, but these 5 tips they are timeless. The great thing is it's an audio recording. So you can download it and listen to it in your car. You can put it on your computer. You can put it wherever you want. You can listen to it while you take a walk and just start thinking about how to integrate these 5 tips into your day. And you will literally open up possibly hours every day and 10 hours a week. And what
Oh,
could you do in 10 hours a week?
a lot. Yeah, that's awesome. Those 5 tips are great. I've got them somewhere. I got to go listen to them again. Well, Julie just had a 5-day challenge, and hopefully she does another one later this year. And if you didn't get on it, you definitely should get on it, because you watch those 5 tips and you're going to be just chomping at the bit for more of Julie Miller Davis.
Thanks, Trisha.
It's true. It's just awesome. So thanks, Julie. I appreciate all of your insight and education, and go download those 5 tips.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We'll see you soon, Julie. Mwah. Bye,
Bye.
everybody. Get the tips.
Bye.